Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today is a very rare video. It's a video where apparently, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think I'm defending XQC. Now, about a month, 2 months ago, I had a little bit of a, argument with this individual because me and him just did not get along or see eye to eye in terms of reaction content. Now, for those of you who need a quick primer, XQC was lambasted in front of the world because he would just put on somebody else's video, get up, go somewhere else and just basically freeboot a video, kind of like the stuff you'd see from SS Sniper Wolf. I would argue a little bit lazier because at least she's there on the chair watching. But ladies and gentlemen, today I gotta kind of defend him on a little bit of a point that I find to be wild. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't have to be the one to tell you that aside from uploading content onto the internet and, this world that we have, this fun little corner of the internet, there is a real world out there with real world problems. And one of them is an actual war going on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've obviously probably heard of the Israel-Palestine situation. And if you ever wonder why I've not talked about it when it initially dropped weeks ago, that's because I'm not an expert, okay? I'm just a guy on the internet that plays video games, talks about video game stuff, talks about internet culture stuff, and from time to time, I will definitely look into viruses, the deep web, and do crazy shit. So again, that's pretty much the extent of my expertise, if you can call it that. There are far, far more channels out there that give far more comprehensive, realistic, journalistic coverage into this stuff. Something that I can never do because it's not something that I have any expertise in. Now, XQC uploaded a video onto his main channel, or rather, let me be correct here, the editor did, okay? Learning about the Israel-Palestine conflict so you don't have to. Now, that's a pretty wild title over there, okay? I'll be real. It sounds kind of condescending if we're going to be honest here. But to understand, XQC was lambasted for this in front of the world. He had this clip from his Clips channel where he was pog soy facing, like, let me do the soy jack. One of those, XQC reacts to an actual, bombing. Now, obviously, the community vilified this behavior, said that you're literally just uploading this to make a few bucks off the AdSense because people are going to be searching for this tragic event in that period of time. And you could argue the same thing for XQC. Now, times have changed. And in XQC's defense, there are plenty of channels that are covering the situation right now. For instance, some of the largest political channels on the internet, Destiny for instance, has covered this topic for weeks now with several banger, high-viewed videos. Creators like Hasanabi, who is one of the largest political streamers in the planet, has covered this topic and discussed it. Now, you can argue that these guys obviously have a background on this subject. This is content that pertains to them, okay? This is why I don't make Roblox roleplay video content, because nobody comes to my channel to watch fucking Roblox roleplay high school content, okay? Just like nobody, and that's sort of the point that I'm making over here, right? Everyone has their own niche. These guys are just able to cover this content without that ick associated with covering actual tragic breaking events. Now, does that mean that people should be locked out from discussing what they want? Absolutely not. And in this case, I actually am in defense of XQC because I really do think anybody should be allowed to make this kind of content, period. Now, you might consider it to be scummy, but at the same time, I look at it from the bigger picture perspective. Obviously, this content will be covered. And on YouTube, it already is. If you go and search up this actual topic right now, you'll probably find that most YouTube content is coming from actual verified, trusted news sources, right? YouTube has a special designation for large-scale media channels like Fox News, for instance, or CNN, or Vox, or Vice, or a lot of these big publications. And they're typically allowed to discuss these topics with no impunity. They have ads played on there, they're not deboosted in the algorithm, and they're able to get by and discuss really serious situations. YouTubers, in a lot of ways, are mostly hampered in discussing. Oftentimes, their content will get demonetized, it will get age restricted, and yeah, that's pretty much how it comes by. For instance, I made a video a while back discussing the North Korean poisoning of one of the Kim family. And I used a clip from the New York Times, or I believe. And that clip got taken down that clip not taken down, it got age restricted. The same clip that played without an age restriction on a major news network. So in terms of YouTube, I'm always like, okay, if YouTubers can also do journalism and discuss these topics alongside the bigger content creation like houses. Now, XQC is where that whole argument, I'm going to leave right there. XQC is not exactly one of the biggest experts in the world, okay? I'm going to play you a clip from one of his analyses on the topic, and we'll kind of laugh at it together, okay?
Camp David Accords. Shortly after that, Israel gave sign a...
Yeah, this is a really bad question, chat. Why don't they just... And this will sound really bad. Why don't they take the whole piece of land, full reset, all the same, and just call it like a Landia.
Yeah, he a real fucking diplomat, ain't he? This that peace-talking motherfucker we should have sent to the Middle East.
Oh, man. Yeah, sometimes I love that childlike wonder, dude. God damn it. But yeah, that's this is the kind of guy we should have sent for peace in the Middle East, I guess you could say. Now, of course, this video is learning about the conflict. And again, even if it's condescendingly titled, I do appreciate that he's watching a whole range of content in its entirety just to understand this really complicated situation right now. God help you if you're going to XQC to learn about a topic like this. Jesus Christ. But again, to go back to it, there's a lot of other creators creating content about this topic, so I think to single out XQC is a little bit too much, okay? I really don't think it's okay. I think it's actually hypocritical to go after him for covering this content if, like, pretty much a grand majority of, like, political YouTube already is. Like, I think it's just weird to do. However, this is where my niceties kind of end, okay? Because what XQC does next is downright sad and cringe, okay? So in response to this topic, I'm gonna flashbang you with something that I swear to God I didn't fake, okay? XQC responds, huh? And he shows a bag of money, all right? He's got two bands up to his, like, head, all right? He's flexing that cash. Now, obviously, people will look at this and say, my God. Talk about being tone deaf, ladies and gentlemen. There are deaf people, okay, that are less tone deaf than this entire situation. Okay, this is just blatantly stupid. Now, of course, XQC was another creator, good friend of the show. Quite says your soul remains empty. To which XQC always responds with your bank account relates, where he shows this watch. Now, I don't know exactly how much this watch costs. All I do know is that you could probably replace a goddamn 9-banger with this if you throw it into a room, so it's clearly got some utility, ladies and gentlemen. But again, it's so weird to me that one of the largest streamers in the world who actually has talent, like XQC is so weird to me. It's not like I'm witnessing like a douche tuber from back like in 2015 that literally just showcased cash to like a 12-year-old audience to make themselves seem cool. No, this is like an actual talented individual who quite literally has let money go to his head. Now, money is one of those things in my life that comes and goes, but money is never a replacement for character and personality, and XQC seems to have a very dim amount of it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do I think XQC is an evil person for reacting to a serious situation? Absolutely not. I think serious situations can be talked about, and honestly, as far as I'll ever talk about this specific situation, I really don't think innocent civilians on either side dying is okay. I think the governments responsible for this, Israel specifically, is pretty bad in terms of creating, news reports, feeding them to these Palestinians, telling them in English that, hey, this is where we're going to be attacking, while simultaneously cutting off their network, food, water, resources. I mean, like that is just downright evil from the outside looking in. And obviously, a terrorist organization that's somehow being defended by a few individuals is downright insane to me. There are terror situations involved that should be unanimously fucking hated, okay, by everyone. Because ultimately, these organizations use civilians to hide behind. And that's pretty much where the extent of my actual research goes, okay? If you somehow disagree with me saying civilians shouldn't be dying, then I think the problem lies with you. I have talked about serious situations on my channel too. So again, I've talked about the do not join the cyber war. Now, this is a video I made about a year ago, over a year ago, where I actually used my resources, my understanding of the cyber warfare department, like understanding malware, virus investigations, and I showcased how Russian state organizations were actually spreading, like, attacking tools and just getting random people to download them and use them and participate in a cyber war campaign between Russia and Ukraine. Now, obviously, I made this video because I understand this topic, and I understand the technology behind all of it. And a lot of this was telling people not to get involved in something that can cause other people obvious harm, and also you yourself harm for getting involved. I don't think making content on serious situations is bad or unmonetizable if you actually have something worthwhile to provide to it. XQC does not. XQC is not an intelligent individual when it comes to this topic. He's smart when it comes to a bunch of other shit, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to this stuff, it just comes across pretty shitty. And I do agree with him in the sense that there's other creators who create content talking about this subject, but then it all fucking gets thrown into the wind when this guy's just out there flexing money like a douche tuber from 2015. Yeah, XQC's a real hard guy to love these days, and honestly, you know, I wanted to make this video, to kind of look into XQC again, because he showed up in my feed, and honestly, it sucked to see exactly this show up. It really felt like I was hit with that, like, 2010 YouTube gaming era when some creators actually use, like, really, really insane scenarios to push their metrics a little bit higher. But it's also one of those scenarios that I'm looking at too that isn't just entirely related to XQC either. It's also related to YouTube in large as well, right? Like, clearly, I think if you're a creator, you should be allowed to discuss these things, obviously, if they fall within your purview. I think if you just do this as sort of like, I think it's really shitty for a lot of people to look at what XQC is doing, because it really from the outside looks like he's watching this, like it's YouTube videos, like it's drama content, when in reality, these are real people's lives currently being uprooted and destroyed. It's one of the reasons, actually, why I didn't even cover the Johnny, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, not because I didn't have interest in it, but because it felt like a lot of YouTube friends and the people watching that content were treating an abuse trial as if it was actually just like a team sport, okay? And there are limits to me, okay? Obviously, could I cover this kind of content and get massive viewership and massive subscribers from it? Yeah. Obviously, that's how trends work. But there has to be some ethical limit involved in here. And I kind of wish XQC saw it the way that I see it. But yeah, it's weird, man, honestly. There's not much to say other than, goddamn, expectations were low, but somehow drilled me right to the center of the earth, my man. Anyways, it's me, Mutahar, and yeah, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.